I wanted to just hear from you. How has motherhood been for you as like a younger mom? And now you have your third on the way, and I think that's amazing. But I would love to hear like the beautiful side and maybe the real and harder sides that you've had and what it's been like just entering into motherhood.
It's great. Gosh, I love being a mom. It is definitely my favorite thing in the world. And um, talk about like the place you feel confident in and just love. Just being home with our girls is the greatest. And the season of life we're in has been so, so sweet. And now having a third. So motherhood is the most beautiful gift and something that I am thankful for every day. But yes, there is definitely a hard side of it for sure. And someone asked me recently, it was kind of a funny question because it was in the context of we were at a church and we were doing the speaking event, and she was doing kind of similar things that I'm doing. And she said, okay, so we're this age and we're thinking about having kids, but we haven't, because I'm doing ministry and I just don't know what that's going to look like whenever I start having kids. And so like, what was it like for you going from like single to then married to then having kids and ministry? And what was the hardest stage of that? And I said, well, being single in ministry was easy. I mean, like, there's me and God, and we were just doing it, And then being married was even better because then I had like a partner and someone to like pray alongside and push me and help me and show up to the events with me. And I was like, and then having kids was definitely the hardest thing as far as like continuing to do what I'm doing. But at the same time, like it's been the greatest blessing of my life. Like this is my favorite stage of my entire life. But if you're looking at the context, is it hard? Well, yeah. But I was saying like in the first, when I first had Honey, that first postpartum time of life was one of the hardest times of life because I did not account for the fact that becoming a mom does change your whole life. Like you don't know until you know. You don't know until you see your baby. So you can think, I'm going to do all these things. And then when you have your baby, it's like, it changes things. And so I didn't like make space to have a maternity leave. I was just like, oh no, I can finish writing that book. And then, yeah, we can do our conference in 2 months after and blah, 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 like thinking we'll be fine. Oh my gosh, it was like the biggest wake up call ever to like, what in the world were you thinking? It led me to then being like, I want to quit everything and just be home with her and like having this whole kind of meltdown. And I just remember again, like having to recenter, like, okay, God, it like, is this my time to like stay home and be with the kids? Because be with my kid now and then future kids. Or do you have this in the picture for me to continue doing some things that I'm doing and be a good mom? Because I don't want to just like be a mom, I want to be a great mom. So if I can do both of these things well, then show me what that looks like. But if this is gonna fall, then like I'm out, And I feel like through prayer and me and Christian having great conversations, we kind of came to the point of we really do feel like God has allowed us to have this platform, and we feel like the world doesn't get to see in movies or TV like great examples of like Christian families, and maybe we get to show that through just showing up and showing our lives to the world. So we really did feel confident in doing that. But that is hard sometimes, like there's some messiness in that. There's traveling with kids everywhere, and we have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old running around backstage doing crazy things. And
Yep,
I
we're
would
right
have
there with
way
you.
less
I feel
time to
like
prepare
Yeah.
for sermons
I
than I
think it
used
makes
to.
it way more fun though, and I
But
feel
it's
like
so much more
people
fun.
Yeah.
people need to be around children. I feel like we decompartmentalize things way too much in life, and I love having like even if they're not having a good day and like more on the tantrum spectrum or something, like I just love having it
It's
all.
nice.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Oh, it's
It's
real.
the
good.
It's
It's
best.
good.
yeah, it's
And
makes it
that's what
so
I
much
told
more
her.
fun.
I said, it's the greatest time of my entire life. But you can't
Yeah.
say it's not hard, but that doesn't mean it's not
Totally.
amazing.